Hello, everyone. I'm Renow Zero, and we're back again talking about Gina Carano weighing in on the South Park joining the Panderverse special, that in which she reveals that Disney asked her to quote unfollow certain accounts because they said mean things about Kathleen Kennedy. You know, the lady who essentially took the legacy of George Lucas and took his franchise, it's called Star Wars, and essentially destroyed it. Essentially made it just a simple box on Disney Plus, making all of George Lucas's previous stories that he wrote, that he directed, essentially useless, null and void, and pointless. So we're gonna jump into this article here from Bounding into Comics. Given her own personal history with the company and its notorious producer, it should come as no surprise to find that actress Gina Carano has thoughts on the South Park joining the Panderverse special and its criticism of Disney and Kathleen Kennedy's ruinous obsession with identity politics. He essentially had the Cartman version of Kathleen Kennedy saying, put her in a woman and make her gay and make it lame type of thing. Offering a rare criticism of the House of Mouse's ongoing creative implosion, joining the Panderverse begins with Cartman finding himself plagued with nightmares in which he and the rest of South Park citizens, for no reason and with no explanation, have suddenly been replaced by diverse women complaining about the patriarchy. The last time I had a dream, I was walking down the school hallway, and then I see Butters, Cartman recounts to a therapist. And that's when I begin to notice that something's wrong. Everyone I cared about has been systematically replaced. And I finally want to scream, and I'm like, why are they replacing every single character with someone who is diverse? And you can see it here. This is Butters. I think this is Kyle. No, it's not. I think that's Kyle, yeah. And this is supposed to be Cartman on this different universe, essentially, that they created. But then Kenny's like, it's not our fault. It's because of Kathleen Kennedy. He continues his words, becoming ever more panicked by the second. But then Kathleen Kennedy's like, F it, make it more lame. And everyone in the town's like, no, please, Kathleen Kennedy, please stop ruining everything. But Kathleen Kennedy's like, put another gay diverse woman in it, make it more effing lame. And Disney stock just keeps going down and down. And then Bob Iger's all like, no, what's going on with my stock? No, Kathleen Kennedy. This is basically dialogue and stuff going on in the actual special. I highly recommend anyone go watch it. I think it's fantastic and it's great. It just absolutely destroys Disney, destroys Kathleen Kennedy as a person in it. It basically shows how silly she really is. Yeah, while the therapist dismisses these nightmares as nothing more than stress dreams stemming from his fear of being replaced by AI, Cartman soon discovers that they were actually glimpses into the multiverse, the truth becoming apparent to him just as he and his diverse female counterpart, who herself was experiencing the same dreams but in reverse, are forcibly swapped into each other's universe. Meanwhile, as both Cartmans and their respective Stans, Kyles, and Kennys set out to correct this error, Bob Iger and the Disney board come to the realization that the version of Kennedy currently roaming their halls and greenlighting films, a Cartman variant whose core creative principle is put a chick in it and make her lame and gay, is not their own. Sure enough, the board soon comes to understand that not only has Kennedy been replaced, but that the situation was caused in the company's overuse of the Panderstone, an ancient piece of AI that could be used to make the same movies over and over again while appealing to absolutely everyone, tore open a hole into the multiverse. Eventually crossing paths on the diverse world of Earth 216B, Kennedy and Cartman call a temporary truce in order to find their way back to their home universe. In doing so, the two are afforded a moment to clear the air, during which the two air their respective grievances over how the other handled their disagreements over the current state of Disney's current catalog, but in particular the Star Wars franchise. Quote, the Panda Storm worked great for a while, Kennedy tells Cartman, but then came the hate mail. Ugly letters from ists who couldn't stand that some of the Panda Stone's rehashes had diverse women characters in the lead. I decided I would show them. I would start making making movies to fight all the bigotry in our society, which is essentially what Kathleen Kennedy does in real life. So it's pretty funny that they were able to go after her like that. But instead of doing any real work, I turned to the Panda Stone. She then admits, it made things so much easier. Soon I was using the Panda Stone over and over again to try and fight all the ugly feedback, which in turn was growing stronger and stronger. But I was fighting with the wrong tool. I used the Panda Stone so much that it became unstable. It opened the portal to multiple universes, and something came through, which was the the Cartman version of Kathleen Kennedy from a different universe. Turning to his meeting with her Cartman counterpart, Kennedy recalls, quote, at first we fought, and I tried to send it back to its universe, but it got the upper hand, and it was able to instead send me to this universe out of its way so it could thrive in ours. Surprisingly, rather than vitriol, Cartman instead meets Kennedy's story with acceptance, admitting that's actually the best explanation I've heard as to why Disney movies all suck now. I understand that maybe you were trying to make a difference, Kathleen, he tells the producer, but you have to admit the last few movies you've crapped out have been real stinkers. Quote, all I ever wanted was to make great entertainment, believe me, she explains to Cartman in turn, but as soon as you start getting piles and piles of hate mail, endless messages calling you the C word, you can't think straight. In a moment of levity amidst an otherwise stark discussion, Cartman then admits, well, I'm sorry, roll of letters is probably a bit much. Kennedy then attempts to reassure Cartman, quote, no, I got like 10,000 letters a day, to which he corrects, I was doing more like 12 to 13,000, especially after that new Indiana Jones came out, referring to Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which was a pile of crap that they replaced Indiana Jones essentially with the woman, played by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Met with this revelation, Kennedy proceeds to exclaim, quote, then it's you. You're the one who caused all this. F you, Cartman fires back. You're the one who caused all this. Offering a defense of her actions, Kennedy affirms, I wouldn't have tried to fight ism with the Panderstone if you hadn't written all those letters. Okay. Prompting Cartman to likewise declare, quote, I wouldn't have written all those letters if you hadn't tried to fight ism with the effing Panderstone. This is all talking about the actual episode. I actually want to get to the part with Gina Carano. And is that this last exchange in particular which drew Carano's attentions, retweeting a clip of the scene which notably cuts just after Cartman's declaration that Kennedy's story was, quote, the best explanation I've heard as to why Disney movies all suck now. As shared by the new nerd news outlet Geeks and Gamers, Carano declared, quote, this is the part where KK demands any YouTubers get censored off of YouTube for sharing and laughing at this hilarious episode. Quote, she'll have YouTube disable the thumbs down option because of the ratio she'll receive. Then she'll have her publicist ghouls make sure Variety and Hollywood Reporter run hit pieces about the South Park creators and their families, smearing their names though through every useful idiot she has under her thumb who would sell their solo work for Lucasfilm, said the former The Mandalorian star. She'll activate her online mobs to repeat that the South Park creators are bigot phobes and demand of South Park creators publicly apologize by using only words that she approves of. And finally, she'll demand those subject themselves to a re-education course of 45 people in the Alphabet Community Zoom call to sit there and listen to how badly they got their feelings hurt, all over a little boop of a South Park episode, which the creators of South Park will never bend the knee. They don't care about the weirdos on the internet who get offended by getting misgendered. Nobody cares. And she's referring to all the things that she had to go through when she simply made some tweets. Ultimately, ending on cheeky note, Carano sardonically concluded her tweet, but maybe, just maybe, the jig is up. Unsurprisingly, while Carano's tweet was met with a wave of support and adulation from her fans, it also drew its fair share of criticism for her detractors. One such critique, though brief, came from the official account for the Around the Galaxy podcast, wherein its administrator informed their followers, in case you were wondering, Gina Carano has lost her dang mind. You lost your mind when you decided to support this garbage right here. So, if you want to talk about anybody losing their mind, it's you. Not one to take swings lying down, Carano in turn proceeded to lay into the Star Wars-centric podcast, firing back, quote, do you always call a woman crazy just because she has more first-hand experience than you and says something you don't like understand? Bit misogynistic, don't you think? Tisk, tisk. Curious if your overlords pay you, or do y'all just go ahead and shove your whole head straight up your butt for free? She then asked, I'm guessing for free. Might want to come out for some fresh air. For some added context, not just for you, but for the people reading, one of the things your overlords asked me to do was unfollow certain accounts because they said bad things about Kathleen Kennedy. Well deserved, by the way. That was a huge red flag for me. If I were the head of one of the most powerful entertainment companies in the world, I would know that haters come from with the territory, and that maybe the haters are expressing their thoughts because they actually care, and caring is a good thing because as long as they care, well, hey, we still have something to work with. She further posited. Maybe we can win their hearts back eventually. Maybe they do have some good things to add to the conversation, which they do and did. And at the very least, they're still buying the product. She's referring to Star Wars, essentially. Look at Mando Season 1. Boom, the healing had begun. She then recalled, if you are a proper good leader, you learn how to embrace and communicate, not dictate in silence and demand your actors and directors unfollow and shame more than half of your fan base and the people who have stuck with the franchise for decades. Side note, don't say, quote, the force is female and then allow only the men to express their political views online. In fact, just drop the ridiculous phrase completely. Now, this is in reference to the fact that Pedro Pascal was able to put his opinion on there and essentially call 74 million people the bad guys from WW2, but yet she puts out some quote-unquote political thing about not tattling on your neighbors, and she gets fired. Quote, one of the problems your overlords are having now is that they've made a lot of people completely stop caring about one of the most beloved franchises in history, me included, all by bullying, pushing aggressive agendas, and trying to silence people criticizing them. Colonel detailed. How are they able to tell stories they don't understand when the ones they identify with are the Empire? They are literally trying to squash the little guys, the rebellion. No wonder the storytelling is struggling. They fired and dehumanized people like me, who did absolutely nothing wrong, all the virtue signal to people like you, the yes men. But yes men, unfortunately for you and them, do not drive culture, she added. Maybe they were banking on the kids picking up the slack, but one of the best things about this is passing it from generation to generation. The share of the competition is too high to throw out something as valuable as that. Why would one generation pass it on when you've disrespected and thrown them away? Quote, your overlords try to hide behind the two opposing fan bases fighting each other instead of taking responsibility, Carano declared. So they encourage the hate, all while virtue signaling they're standing up for minorities, but instead using them as a shield and weapon. Funny enough, just how government works. They think people will forget, and yes, maybe they will, but for this moment, they have heard the people's voice and it shook them. They're choosing to stick with their weak leadership who couldn't handle YouTubers saying mean things online when all it would have taken is a true leader to step in, take the reins, take some responsibility, stop discriminating, apologize about things that they have done wrong, step completely out of politics, be truly inclusive, and they'd be back in business. Until then, they're stuck with you, the yes man, and they're planning stuck. Damn, she just wrecked them. Bringing her lengthy thread to a close, Carano ultimately affirmed, quote, I'm not saying I'm right on all fronts, but I am open-hearted and refuse to discriminate based off of powerful people telling me how to think and act. And if there was something I needed to apologize for, I would have in a heartbeat, but I didn't say or do anything wrong. People come up to me daily to shake my hand, thank me for taking a stand, even people who think differently. Quote, one thing is true, good leadership makes for a better world, leading to healthier and happier people and better opportunities, she concluded. Look around, we are watching the devastating effects of what bad leadership can do worldwide. Yeah, she completely destroyed these fools who tried to tell her that she was crazy, and she put this long thread out, so a long tweet out, essentially telling them to F off and stop pandering or stop bending the knee to this nonsense that you're clearly seeing in your face where storytelling is just absolutely trash in the Star Wars universe because someone named Kathleen Kennedy decided to do her own thing, push all the boys out and bring, I guess, some women in, even though women have been watching Star Wars since the 70s. We've seen videos of it. And she thinks she has to pander to women because reasons. And then everyone who was a fan before of Star Wars, essentially apathy has set in, and we no longer care. We just want to watch it disappear, go away, don't really care. Essentially giving it away because we no longer care because none of these stories matter. They've destroyed essentially all the characters that actually matter, which were basically Han, Luke, and Leia. And that's what the main story of Star Wars was always about. But that's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, returning viewers. If you do like this video, hit the like button, comment below what you feel about all this, subscribe for more content, consider becoming a member down below with the join button. For only $1 a month, you can become a member of the channel. You get special perks like emotes during live streams and things like that. And I will see you all on the next one. Peace.